everyone, we're back with another exciting lesson on the IELTS Academic Writing Task 2. During the last two lessons, we learned about the various question types as well as looked at how to structure our essay for all the question types. Let's do a quick recap before we begin. In the IELTS Writing Task 2, you'll be writing a formal essay. This could ask you anything from your opinion on a current public issue to discussing the advantages and disadvantages or even giving solutions to an issue. Now, before we go ahead and learn how to answer the question types for this task, we're going to make things a little easier for us and learn some useful vocabulary, sentences, and phrases that we can use in order to elevate our essay and raise our band score, especially for the lexical resource, cohesion and coherence, and grammatical range and accuracy criteria. All right then, let's begin. We'll go through this paragraph-wise, citing examples in accordance to the various question types whilst covering vocabulary and phrases accordingly. Let's start with the introduction. For this, you'll need to restate the prompt, give a thesis, and provide an overview of the essay. Here are some of the most common vocabulary used in IELTS Writing Task 2 to do that. Nowadays, it appears that, it may seem that, over the last few decades. After you've written your opening, you can go about writing your thesis statement, where you'll describe how you feel about the topic and also tell the examiner which direction the essay is going. In order to know how to frame your thesis statement, you will have to identify the type of question and look at the action words. Now, action words could be anything from, but not limited to what extent do you agree or disagree, discuss both sides of this argument and give your opinion, what are the causes of this, how can this problem be solved? This is why it's important to take some time to analyze the question and understand what it is actually asking us to do. To present your thesis statement, you can use the following phrases. This essay will show that. This essay will argue that. To examine this issue, this essay will examine both ... and ... Firstly, this essay will, and secondly, it will. Try avoiding the use of the word I when presenting your thesis statement. Also, for agree and or disagree question types, it's best to pick one side to avoid confusion. You can have a look at these practical examples to get a better understanding. Right, now let's move on to some vocab and phrases that you can use for your body paragraphs. The vocab and phrases for these paragraphs have to do with your cohesion and coherence score, as we want to transition our ideas clearly and logically. Words like, first of all, in addition, for example, for instance, conversely, however, can all help with structuring your thoughts as well as guide the examiner. To transition onto the next paragraph, you can use phrases like, on the contrary, in contrast, secondly, second of all. The second reason being, to drive this point, in support of the previous argument, consequently, furthermore, moreover, in addition to, likewise, on the other hand, apart from. You will need to use these phrases appropriately in accordance with your point of view and the question type. And finally, you will have to transition towards your final paragraph, which is your conclusion, smoothly. Instead of restating the thesis statement right away, use transition words and phrases to wrap up. Here's the most common vocabulary used in IELTS Writing Task 2 to do that. To summarize, finally, in the end, on balance, therefore, in conclusion, overall, to sum up. Right then, we've covered a couple of phrases, but before we close this lesson, let's look at a couple of tips. First of all, make sure you read the question very well and carefully. Don't assume what you're expected to do because you could be asked to do any of the above question types. Number 2, this is a formal piece of writing, so make sure you sound like an academic when arguing and avoid using overly passionate language like I hate or I would not like. Tip number 3, structure your essay well. Do not write in one big paragraph. Make sure you break up each section while keeping in mind the cohesiveness of the essay. Tip number 4, try not to repeat yourself, especially when you're trying to reiterate an idea. Use different terms or angles if you feel the need to repeat points in any way. Right, now this next point is one that I'll keep mentioning throughout this section, and that is to take time out to plan your essay. Keep around 5 to 10 minutes to plan the essay before you start writing it. This really makes all the difference once you begin, and it will help you achieve the task in less time. This next tip is that even if you're running out of time, make sure to conclude your essay. Just write a few concluding lines to tie up your whole essay. And last but not least, avoid using slang, overly complicated language, or leaving sentences half done. Make sure you have the time to revise and make corrections since the exam is written in pencil anyway. Well, that's it for this lesson. Remember, using these words and phrases will surely help boost your lexical resource and grammatical range and accuracy score. See you for the next lesson where we'll begin to break down how to answer various Task 2 question types, starting with agree, disagree, and/or opinion questions. See you then!